Hi, folks, and welcome to week number 8 and unit number 3. Okay, so we're going to start essay 3 right now. And this is actually the place we start research. The first two papers that we've done this semester are analytical papers. We're trying to look at sources and trying to understand what they can and can't do for us. Essay 3 and 4 are actually going to be research papers. Okay, now last week we had a little bit of a discussion about the differences between sample essay 3 and a podcast that you guys listen to. And one of the real differences between that and the sorts of essays that we were trained to write in high school is that you guys were always trained to start from like a place where you're like, X is the case, and I'm going to go find some sources that prove it. That's the exact backwards way of what we want to do for research. Real research is about starting with a question. So for the rest of the semester, we're going to be thinking about research questions. Now, there's a couple things we're going to do in that process. So, number one, watch your week 8 video. Look for your feedback on your essay 3 proposal, okay? So as soon as you guys turn them in, I'm going to try to get them back to you as fast as I can. If you're struggling to find an article for the essay, I will show you a little link down here that might help. Complete the week 8 readings, watch Sifting Sources, there's a video there, and begin your research discussion in your Google Doc here. That will actually be the last research discussion of the semester, our last discussion of the semester. I'll kind of walk you through this, and we'll come back and take a look at next Thursday's work. So, number one, if you're struggling to find an article or a meme, you can go ahead and click this link. It actually will just give you access to a Google Docs folder, basically of screenshots of articles and memes that I have come across in my time. And this is straight up just as I browse the internet, if I'm on social media or whatever, and I see something that makes me go, huh, that's interesting and that's questionable, I just kind of dump it into this Google Drive folder. So feel free, if you're really struggling to find something that works, dig into that folder, take a look at it, okay? Now, week 8 readings, there are 3 readings here. They're all popular, and they're all relatively short, okay? We're going to use these for a little bit of practice, as well as for our final group discussion, okay? After you've read those, I want you to watch this video called Sifting Sources. This is a video from Professor Moore, our librarian for the class, and then we're going to do a group discussion, okay? This is going to work the exact same way your earlier ones did that utilized a Google Doc. This link will just take you to a Google Drive folder. It will look something like this. Let me move this real quick. You will probably only see one group there. You'll certainly should only have access to one group. I think you'll only see one group too. If you click that, you will find something in there called a SIFT rubric. And it looks like this. What I want is for you guys as a group this week to work on filling this out. And we're really going to be filling out these portions here. Stop doesn't have anything. If you're looking at this going like, I have no idea what's supposed to go in here, that's because how to use this rubric is covered in this video from Professor Moore. So watch the video first, read your sources, and then we can come in and start the group discussion. My goal this week is for you guys to completely fill out this rubric as a group. Just everyone kind of contributing where they can, okay? All right, let's take a look back up. October 13th, next Thursday. So, watch Revising an Essay video, complete your Essay 2 revision game plan, complete and submit the Essay 2 revision, and then complete breaking down the big question. So there are a couple pieces here. Okay. Number one, we've got Essay 2 revision. So revising an essay and then submitting your Essay 2 final. You should have kind of a list in your game plan of things you need to do. Please update that again. And then actually kind of go through it and use it as a checklist before you submit your final. So if it says like, hey, I need to spend more time proofreading, okay, spend your time proofreading. If it says, I need to be better about citing my sources, go through every place you used a source, check what your citation looks like, okay? So I really want you to use that game plan that you put together last week, and again, update it as you get feedback from me. You should have feedback from me on Essay 2 at this point, draft. And then use that information to figure out what changes you need to make. Just kind of create a checklist. Revising an essay will also kind of help you through here, okay? Then, one of the things about research essays, and again, I talked about starting from a question. An essay 3 is really simple because the question is built in. Is this article or is this meme true? And then we're going to go do research to figure this out, okay? That's all there is to it, really. If you can punch that question into Google and get an answer, and everyone seems to agree, yes, this is the case, here's why, there's no research project, okay? Someone's already answered the question. Every once in a while, I will have a student that will want to do something like, let's say, is climate change real? Or something like that. And I'll say, like, okay, well, punch this into Google. And aside from some real fringe folks, yes, climate change is real. We know that putting carbon into the atmosphere has a negative impact, blah, blah, blah. Okay? There's no research project there because that question has already been answered. That is a suggestion that we need to kind of go back and reconsider our question. Students often then ask me, well, how am I supposed to answer this question if I can't put it into a search engine and get an answer? And the idea behind this is that we need to actually break this down into smaller chunks. So there's a video here called Breaking Down the Big Question. And what that does is talks about how to break a research question down into smaller chunks. And if we can answer the smaller chunks, you can do analysis and synthesis to extrapolate an answer out of that. One of the examples I always use is like, is a mechanical pencil or a wooden pencil better for the environment? Okay, theoretically, the mechanical pencil gets reused, the wooden pencil gets used up and thrown out. There are some things we need to know in order to be able to answer that. And that's about breaking that big question down into little tiny chunks. We might be able to answer those chunks, and then we can start building towards an answer. Okay, so please watch that video. It'll kind of walk you through this. And then we're going to have a research question template. Take a sec to load here. So, a research question template looks basically like this, okay? And what we're doing right now is not trying to answer the questions. This is going to be my big test to see whether or not anyone watches my videos. If you're watching my video, you will not answer the question. What you're going to do is put your central research question here, and then your smaller research questions here, here, here. Leave the other sections for next week. We will come back and start working on that, okay? And I'll show you here real quick just a sample, because I love to provide samples. Note, no answers or citations. All we're doing at this moment is trying to break the questions down. This is an actual set of research questions from a former student, okay? And what you can see, central research question goes up top, and then all the smaller research questions come below. And again, in order to answer this question as to whether or not, marijuana is as effective or as safe as using an SSRI or a benzodiazepine to treat depression and anxiety, we need to know a lot of these things. It's like, and we can see, A, how do they work, which is some background information, but how common are the side effects, okay? How common are the potential side effects of different drugs? What are the risks of cannabis use? What's the effectiveness of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So, like, this is a question where if we know the effectiveness of these three different things, we know the risks of these three different things, we can then start to look at whether or not marijuana is as effective, less effective, as safe, or less safe, okay? So that's our goal this week, is to take our research question, is this meme accurate, and break it down into smaller chunks. Of course, in order to do that, we just have to have a very clear sense as to what claims we're looking to investigate, and that hopefully should be laid out in your proposal. As always, if you've got any questions this week, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am here to help.